humbly put myself before you as my brother's successor, the Lord of Driftmark and Lord of the Tides.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you missed in House of the Dragon, Episode 8.
You are the beast beneath the boards.
For this list, we're looking at small details like Easter eggs and references you may not have noticed the first time around in the episode The Lord of the Tides. If you haven't seen the new episode yet, there will be spoilers. Anything else you noticed? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10, The Pink Dread.
It both gladdens my heart and fills me with sorrow to see these faces around the table.
King Viserys gives a fine and much overdue speech at his Last Supper about familial solidarity and respect. So why do his children and grandchildren have to go and muck it up? After Viserys departs for the evening, and the rest of his life, a roast pig is placed in front of Aemond, a sight Lucerys cannot help but chuckle at.
Final tribute. To the health of my nephews.
It's been several years, but apparently good jokes die hard, as Lucerys is clearly recalling the Pink Dread prank he, Jacaerys, and Aegon played on Aemond back in Episode 6 by presenting him an underwhelming dragon, to say the least.
Behold, the Pink Dread.
Be sure to mount her carefully. First flight's always rough.
Despite Aemond since claiming the finest dragon in the land, it seems he's still not safe from ridicule. Number 9, Arryk and Erryk. With so many characters sharing the same name between generations and eras, it's getting more and more difficult to keep track of everyone. But twin brothers whose phonetic first names are basically the same? Come on.
Thank you for that exhaustive accounting, Lord Beesbury.
As Alicent comes out of a small council meeting, she's greeted by a knight whom she calls Sir Arryk, only for him to correct her as Sir Erryk.
Whatever it is, Sir Arryk, you need to wait.
I'm Arryk, Your Grace.
Of course. My apologies, sir.
We honestly can't hear the difference, but perhaps that's what makes the exchange so humorous. Beyond Fire and Blood, there is another literary precedent for this mix-up in George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. Olenna Tyrell too has Arryk and Erryk guards, whom she merely calls left and right for simplicity. Such an Olenna thing to do.
Ah, yes, the famously tart-tongued Queen of Thorns.
And the famous tart, Queen Cersei.
Number 8. So many Aegons, so few Viseryses. Speaking of confusing names, House of the Dragon gets a lot more complicated when Rhaenyra and Daemon introduce to Viserys their newborn child Aegon and, well, Viserys.
This is Aegon.
Aegon.
And this is Viserys.
So, just for all of you keeping score at home, we've got Aegon the Conqueror, Aegon the Baby, Aegon the Pervert, and Aegon the Jon Snow.
You are Aegon Targaryen, true heir to the Iron Throne.
And on the Viserys side of things, we've got King Viserys, deceased, Baby Viserys, baby, and Dany's Viserys, eventually deceased. Thankfully, we've only got 3 of those characters alive currently on House of the Dragon to keep track of, but at the rate the show is going, that could quickly change in either direction. Number 7. Alicent's stance on Moon Tea. Alicent Hightower has been a fascinating character to watch evolve over these first 8 episodes, as she begins being a true friend to Rhaenyra and genuinely wanting the best for everyone in the realm. While the latter may still be true, it's evident that she's since become a realist and a true player of the Game of Thrones.
Tea.
Yes.
That the Grand Maester himself brought.
At the direction of the king, as I understand it.
In episode 5, she is shocked to hear that Rhaenyra's been given Moon Tea, an abortive substance, for what she thinks at the time is a tryst with Daemon. Now, upon learning that her son, Aegon the Pervert, overextended himself with a serving girl named Diana, Alicent finds herself prescribing the same treatment.
It's best to be certain.
Unfortunately for Alicent, it seems the secret's getting out anyway.
It's been quite a night at the castle, Sims.
Yes, lady.
Number 6. The King and the Milk of the Poppy.
Bring milk of the poppy.
Game of Thrones fans will be more than familiar with Milk of the Poppy, it essentially being like Westerosi opium. We all knew Viserys' time in this world was coming to an end, but it's never a good sign for kings when this drug is administered. After King Robert is mortally wounded in Game of Thrones, Ned Stark makes sure the milk of the poppy eases his pain. It isn't long before Robert is dead.
Give him milk of the poppy.
In the next episode, it's revealed Ned too is on the Alleviant after suffering a wound at the hands of the Lannisters.
He said I wasn't the king. Why did he say that?
He was badly hurt. Maester Pycelle was giving him milk of the poppy. He wasn't himself, otherwise he never would have said it.
While Ned isn't king, he is supposed to be a nominal one as protector of the realm until Joffrey comes of age. That does not happen. Instead,
Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
Number 5. The Maesters and House Hightower. Despite their mutual respect for one another, a meeting between Alicent and Rhaenyra cannot go a few minutes without a snide comment being made.
It's been so long since we were granted the joy of your presence.
Indeed, Your Grace.
They're not long enough to merit a greeting upon our arrival.
Upon reuniting with this episode, Alicent informs Rhaenyra and Daemon of Viserys' treatment, namely at the hands of the Maesters. Rhaenyra facetiously scoffs at this, insinuating that the Maesters are working with Hightowers to seize the throne.
It subjects him to considerable pain on the advice of the Maesters.
Oh, the Maesters, of course. It is they who keep him addled on milk of the poppy while the Hightowers warm his throne.
While TV watchers may not know this, book readers will be keenly aware of House Hightower's connection to the Order of Maesters. Not only do the latter reside in Old Town, the seat of House Hightower, but the house was instrumental in their founding. Suffice it to say, both we and Rhaenyra know which side the Maesters will take should further conflict arise.
Call the Maesters!
Number 4. High Valyrian History Lesson.
Conquering his sister's sail. Great arm.
Beyond being a Westerosi history show itself, House of the Dragon and its characters have already established themselves as being informed by their own history.
Maester?
Quesi misnaxion Aegon undas.
Aegon ordered that the tree should be killed.
Felled. It is a related word.
In the beginning of the episode, a teenage Jacaerys gets a language lesson in High Valyrian. However, the chosen sentences are not simple phrases like "the duck swims on the lake," but whole historical details in their own right. Specifically, Jacaerys and his instructor are recounting Aegon the Conqueror's landing in Westeros. In fact, you might even say the King's Landing. Indeed, the Blackwater Rush Jacaerys refers to is a river that empties out into King's Landing's Blackwater Bay. Kinda sneaky of Jacaerys' High Valyrian teacher to throw in a history lesson as well.
I don't expect you to learn High Valyrian in a day, Jace.
A king should honor the traditions of his forebears.
Well, unless you're planning to depose your own mother, you have plenty of time to study.
Number 3. Seven-Pointed Star. Rhaenyra and Daemon have been away from King's Landing for quite some time with the advent of this episode. So, when they finally return, they naturally see some major changes to the Red Keep. And so do we.
I would say it's nice to be home, but I scarcely recognize it.
With Viserys' ever more failing health, Alicent has assumed some of his duties as queen. Of course, some of this consists of the upkeep of the Red Keep, which has since been adorned with seven-pointed stars, the symbol of the Faith of the Seven. Not only that, but Alicent can be seen wearing seven-pointed star necklaces throughout the episode, reaffirming herself to the faith.
For the king's suffering, did the Maesters also prescribe the removal of Targaryen heraldry and the installation in its stead of various statues and stars?
The emblems of the Seven serve only to guide us on an uncertain path, to remind us of a higher authority.
Between the Maesters and the Faith's Septons, Alicent is allying herself with major pillars of Westeros.
But be assured the Father is just and commands me to forget the accusations you have held in this room today.
Number 2. The King's Mask.
King Viserys of House Targaryen, the first of his name, King of the Andals, and the Rhoynar, and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the realm.
Just when we think Viserys' illness can't get any worse, the loss of an eye and the right side of his face has prompted him to wear a mask.
The matter settled. Again.
While Westeros exists firmly outside of real-world history, it's no secret that its mechanics were inspired by it. Seeing as Viserys has been essentially diagnosed with leprosy outside the show, fans have now connected him with a real-life king, Baldwin IV of Jerusalem. Baldwin also had a slow-advancing leprosy during much of his reign that eventually blinded him. While there's no evidence to suggest he wore a mask, he has been depicted as such in more popular media, such as Ridley Scott's 2005 film Kingdom of Heaven.
The Saracens say that this disease is God's vengeance against the vanity of our kingdom. As wretched as I am, these Arabs believe that the chastisement that awaits me in hell is far more severe and lasting.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. You are no son of mine.
What is it? What is it? What is it? That's all you can say for yourself.
Something happened.
House of the Dragon has already called back to multiple famous Game of Thrones quotes, though not always verbatim. This one definitely is. Upon learning of Aegon's transgressions with Diana the serving girl, Alicent scolds her son with the words,
"You are no son of mine."
Though the inflection and delivery are not entirely the same, the words are shared with someone else who also virtually presided over the realm, Tywin Lannister.
You're no son of mine. I am your son. I have always been your son.
Tywin says this to his son Tyrion, though they turn out to be famous last words, as Tyrion then fatally shoots him with a crossbow. Thankfully, things go a little better for Alicent here, as her familial relationships seem at least a little better. Baby steps. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.